If you thought I'd spend my vacation sightseeing and resting, you're dead wrong. Well, you're partially right because I was bedridden for half of it, so I was forced to rest. But what I meant to say was, I continued working on D&D the entire time. Welcome back to this month's installment of Plippity's Pogs. Today I have an ambitious subclass with tons of creative uses, Rogue Silkstress. Tools are a rogue's best friend, and you've decided to take that one step further. Devising a thin wire with the strength of steel, you learn to creatively weave your way in and out of situations that require the utmost finesse. We kick things off by heading straight into their main ability, Silk. You gain a supply of silk every long rest that you can use for mundane purposes, like tying things together or restricting people. It acts like a thinner, more powerful rope. What really shines from the silk supply is the access you get to a number of techniques that you also unlock at this level. Each technique requires a certain amount of silk, which is deducted from the amount you are currently carrying. This was my rendition of devising another mana system other than spell slots. Using bundles of rope as a cost different from gold or spell slots makes for a unique character build that gives way for interesting roleplay opportunities. For example, tying rope outside of combat for puzzle solving or exploration may come back to bite you later in a fight. You may notice from the description of this ability that this is somewhat similar to the Battle Master's maneuvers. You're right, it's slightly different, but it is inspired by it. Maneuvers are meant to scale with the fighter level since they have the usage of a superiority die that upgrades every couple of levels. Additionally, there are no limits on how many times you can use them, other than the fact that you can only use one per attack. So instead of feeling like enhanced attacks, techniques feel more like a mix between spells and regular actions. I wanted to devise something that would feel good at all levels, meaning it wouldn't have fixed numbers and would scale according to other features the rogue has, like sneak attack or ability checks. I won't go into all of the techniques since there are quite a number of them, but I will list some of my favorite ones. Tripwire is a trap technique, meaning it can be spotted if a creature's passive perception is high enough. It allows you to use the alarm spell, but that's not the highlight of this technique. When taking the movement option on your turn, you may place a wire close to the ground that spans from where you started your movement and where you ended. This feature only works in straight lines and ends early if you interrupt your movement to do something else, that is, take an action. Creatures that move across the wire without detecting it must succeed on a dexterity saving throw against their save DC or fall prone and lose their movement for this round. I think this is a really funny technique that doesn't use too much silk and makes the battlefield a complete mess for enemies and allies alike. Safety Harness lets you negate fall damage if you fall off a ledge or platform, but similar to Tripwire, that's not what makes this technique great. The second aspect of it allows you to traverse up, down, and across vertical surfaces, the sides of walls, and upside down along the ceiling while leaving your hands free. This mimics the spider climb spell, but doesn't require concentration, leaving you free to do other things you want. Puppeteer allows you to live out your fantasy of moving allies and enemies as you wish, giving a plethora of effects when you lace a target with silk. You can move a target 10 feet in any direction, allow the target to make a melee attack using your own stats, and impose disadvantage or advantage on the next attack made on this creature within 1 minute. I've always considered moving creatures against their will a mandatory ability for anyone who uses string as a weapon, so this is how I incorporated it. And finally, we have Turn, a simple but great technique nonetheless. You can use your silk to curve ranged attacks, allowing you to freely move the attack to the target regardless of cover, granted they are in range. Even ignoring its uses in combat, this technique makes for some very interesting usages when devising plans. Firing a bolt that can move freely, carrying something, can make for some cunning or devious results. I'll let your mind wander. Since silk is the main focus of this subclass, most of the remaining features are aimed to make usage of it feel uninhibited and smooth. We have Scavenge, which allows you to regain silk from targets that have been affected by your techniques. A small boost in supply that rewards following up on your techniques. Monitor, which gives you insight into your enemy's passive perception and one saving throw stat of your choosing, something to more easily assess which creature should be targeted by which technique. And then we have Repel. At one point this was something entirely else, another feature aimed at making techniques better, but then I thought about the essence of the subclass more and felt like something was missing. Whenever there's a character that uses string as a tool, they have a great deal of creativity in their movements. Outlaw from Under Night's Stay Birth, Doflamingo from One Piece, and to some degree, even Batman from the DC universe. I originally didn't feel like Repel should be included because it felt like a technique, but I thought it would be nice to have a base kit add-on that didn't feel as ridiculous as a technique. In theory, this just grants you 10 feet of additional movement per turn, but in practice, this is a very strong tool since it allows you to reach locations you couldn't access before. It also allows you to reposition and dodge area of effect attacks more easily, The final feature, Resupply, simply allows you to regain your silk on a short rest. This should make it so you never run out of silk and can just use it to your heart's content. In retrospect, I think that the scaling of this class might have some problems, especially with the amount of techniques you can use at 17th level, as well as the fact that there aren't numbers in the techniques that go up. But if I design the techniques properly, the latter problems should still feel fine. If any of you are planning to add in your own techniques, something I am very open towards and actually want to promote, my advice is to make it not include any hard dice rolls like 2d4 and 1d8 in the description, since it will be rough to balance it at both ends of the level spectrum early on and later on, and to make it something you can find yourself using at any level with small differences in how beneficial the effects are depending on the level you are. And that'll wrap up this subclass. Quick uploads are coming soon, since I have a bit to show off for my vacation. Thank you all for watching, sorry for the late upload, and see you all next time.